A marvellous morning here at Mugello as we welcome you to the first of three races this weekend. I'd like to say it's a sunny Saturday here in Tuscany, but that is not the case, as you will see in a moment, with considerable cloud cover here at the circuit north of the city of Florence. This is the second of three rounds of the European E4 Championship for 2025. 34 cars making their way around onto the grid to race for the first time here this weekend. Qualifying taking place as the sun set last night. It was Kin Nakamura who took pole position for races 1 and 2. And Alex Powell, the Mercedes-AMG Junior, who won in the Italian Championship twice at this circuit earlier in the year. It is Alex who will start on pole position for race 3. Kin Nakamura, pole position for race 1 in a moment. Both Kin and Alex spoke to us after qualifying yesterday evening. Kin Nakamura back after the summer break. A great way to return with pole position for races 1 and 2. How was qualifying?
I think it went pretty decent, to be honest. I think bit of redemption compared to last time we were here. In Italian, I think we had the fastest lap in both qualies, but track limits. This time was a bit safer. Left a bit of margin out there, but yeah, the car felt really good, to be honest. Yeah, big thanks to Prema, and see what the races bring. Starting pole here is quite a useful advantage. So yeah, I think at least in performance pace wise, pretty confident with the car. I think our race pace and testing also looks pretty good. So I think yeah, just have to see what happens really.
Alex Powell, pole position for race 3 here at Mugello. A great way to kick off at the circuit where you dominated in the Italian Championship earlier this year.
Yeah, obviously great to be back on top of the game this weekend. Obviously it hasn't really been an easy week leading up to this, so happy to reset. Of course, we were here 2 months ago. We had a great race weekend. It was like a dream. So this one's starting in a very similar way. I can only thank the team so much because, again, it's just a result of all of their hard work and all their efforts. I mean, we weren't here testing 2 weeks ago, so I would say we were a bit on the back foot. And this morning in FP1 and FP2, we had a lot of issues. So happy to kind of turn it around and start the weekend on a good note.
Alex Powell, along with Reno Francot, recently making their debut in the Formula Regional European Championship just a couple of weeks ago. There is Alex to the right of your screen. Kin Nakamura on pole position for the first 2 races here this weekend. The second row of the grid, all Van Amersfoort Racing. Dante Vinci from Sydney, Australia, starting out at grid 3, speaking with Laura.
Dante, your best qualifying of the year. So are you confident of beating Ken and Alex for the win?
I think, obviously, like you said, it's the best qualifying position we've done. The team, we've been really competent this weekend, and at the end of the day, competence leads to confidence. So I do have the confidence this race that we can do a good result.
Good luck.
Dante starting out at grid 3. Mate, you did not answer Laura's question. Are you confident of winning the race from the inside second row of the grid? A great performance yesterday in qualifying for the driver from Sydney, Australia. He's got the red and white machines ahead from the Prema Racing Team and RACE-GP, respectively. Thomas Stolchemanis raced the first few races of the 2025 Italian Championship with the Prema Racing Team. New colours for Thomas Stolchemanis, now with Antonelli Motorsport.
Thomas, a new team, new colours, but still an excellent qualifying result in P7. How do you feel going into race 1?
Yeah, we had a good qualifying yesterday. Finished P7. I think it's very good after not driving quite a long time. And yeah, we'll see what we can do in the long run because qualifying is something different. And yeah, let's enjoy the race.
Thank you.
Thomas Stolchemanis, the Latvian, back in European car racing after missing the previous few rounds of the Italian Championship. Racing for Antonelli Motorsport, a grid 7. You see the Energy Course sticker on his helmet. His teammates watching on from Kristianstad in Sweden. Of course, Thomas Stoltemaner's victory in the WSK Euro Series at Franciacorta 2 years ago in one of the most spectacular kart races we've seen in the past decade. This is the grid for the first race here this weekend. K and B out of grid 1, Alex out of grid 2. Van Amersfoort Racing drivers, the second row of the grid, Dante Vinci and Maximilian Popov, car 3 out of grid 4. Then we go to Reno Francois, who won the second race at Le Castellet in France. Salim Hanna, the Colombian, and Thomas, who just spoke to Laura Cola, out of grid 7 in car 33. Newman Chi out of grid 8 in car 28. Grid 9 sees the Brazilian who won the first 2 races in Le Castellet. He's the championship leader for us racing, Gabriel Gomez, Alexander Bondrev. Ruta, great performance for the VAR driver out of 11. And Sebastian, who was on the podium at Paul Ricard, back in grid 12. Andy Consani, great debut for the RSGP team for the Mercedes Junior. Kabir Anurag. Ludovico Busso has now moved to the US Racing team. His teammates ahead and behind, because there's the Serbian Andrea Kostic out of grid 16. Alexander Savinkov and Andrea Dupé, the Frenchman who now lives in Milan in the north of Italy. Good performance for the Qatari Bader Al Salati for Gensa Motorsport. And Elia Weiss, one of 2 Crown Motorsport cars on the grid this weekend. The German starts out of grid 20. We go to grid 21 and we see the driver from Bangalore in India, Adi Bansal, start alongside the Israeli Guy Albag. The second Gensa Motorsport driver, that's Teo Schrupp from Buenos Aires in Argentina, and one of 5 drivers fighting for the women's trophy this weekend. Matilda Patz for Matilda Racing, the driver from Cologne in Germany, starts out of grid 24. And all New Zealand 13th row of the grid, Emily Cotti and Oscar Peto, although in reality from Great Britain and Monaco. Peyton Westcott is the Californian alongside the driver from Monterrey in Mexico, one of 5 drivers for Antonelli Motorsport. Starting just behind is Javier Herrera, Ian Kralik, Andre Rodriguez, Evan Michelini, and Ginevra Panzeri. She's also fighting for the women's trophy. Ian Kralik on debut for the US Racing team here this weekend. Abdullah Kamel from Saudi Arabia and Aurelia Nobels, who's racing in the F1 Academy Trophy in 2025, did not get a clean lap in qualifying. She starts back on grid 34. You may remember she did race with the Prema Racing team in the 2023 Italian F4 Championship. She still holds the outright top speed ever recorded in the Italian F4 Championship at Imola 2 years ago, 252.8 kilometres an hour. We won't quite touch those speeds here at Mugello, just under 240 on this 1.1 kilometre long main straight here at Mugello. Just a few moments away from the start. The first of 3 races. This is the E4, the European Series. 3 rounds starting at the former home of the French Grand Prix. That was at Le Castellet. Paul Ricard in the south of France. Marco Antonelli, team owner of the Antonelli Motorsport team. Eleonora Pezzi to his right, to your left of screen there. Team manager for Antonelli Motorsport, who are back with 5 cars in this, the second round of the E4 Championship. Yes, the first round before the summer break at Paul Ricard, Le Castellet in the south of France, where Gabriel Gomez took 2 out of 3 victories. He is the series leader. Reno Francois, the other race winner before the summer break. This is the second round and the championship. The 3-round challenge series concludes at the Temple of Speed, the circuit which hosted the biggest sporting event in Italian history 6 days ago, of course, last weekend, 75th running of the World Championship Italian Formula One Grand Prix. That is at Monza for the final round of the Euro 4, the E4 series on October 26, to crown the 3rd champion of the Euro series. The field to set off on the formation lap. Now the sun is coming out to shine after we awoke to cloud cover here this morning at Mugello. Kin Nakamura Berta in car 51 sets off. It looks as though Thomas Stoltemanis has struggled to get away. Thomas Stoltemanis has stalled on the grid. The Antonelli Motorsport car in the middle of the circuit. The yellow flag waving. One of the RSGP cars, Emily Cotti, she goes by. Just safely though. Thomas Stoltemanis has gone nowhere. A disastrous start for the Latvian, who has stalled on the grid was to have started out of grid 7. He's now being pushed. If the car will fire, if it will start, it may be an early DNF. In fact, he's being pushed into pit lane. The wall is being opened. The gate, the access road on pit wall has been opened. Thomas Stoltermanis, if he can get underway, will have to start from pit lane. The Antonelli Motorsport team, I can tell you, are going to work on car 33. What a disaster for Thomas Stoltermanis. The car being pushed into pit lane by the team here at Mugello, already off the circuit. Thomas Stoltermanis to start from pit lane. A row 4 start. Delete that. It's from the back of the pack for the Latvian, the former WSK multiple race winner for the Energy Corsa racing team. Simply stalling off the start. He's not the only one to do it this weekend. Quite a few drivers with a new lightweight battery running this weekend, which is, well, generally it fires the first time, but it is quite delicate. It costs around about 3 times the price of a normal acid battery, around about €600 for one battery. Thomas Stoltermanis, the car has stalled. He's in pit lane as the field come around the final corner into Buccine. Kin Nakamura to start from pole position for the first of 3 races here this weekend. There is Alex Powell, who lights up the rears. You may remember before the summer break in the Italian Championship, the Mercedes AMG Junior was dominant as he took 2 from 3 victories at this very circuit. There is Reno Francot in car 69, the sole entry for the PHM racing team. Team manager Camila Colombo down on pit wall. She's done a great job, as has her PHM racing team, to put Reno Francot grid 5. This is Max Popoff in grid 3, I can tell you. Thomas Stoltermanis, the car has now fired. He's driven it to the exit of pit lane. He will have to start at the back of the pack. As you look at Reno van der Netherlands line up on grid 5. 33 drivers on the circuit, 1 parked in pit lane, and that is the Latvian in car 33 for Antonelli Motorsport. Guy Elbag in car 44 lines up alongside the Indian from Bangalore, Adi Bansal in car 46. This is Teo Schropp from north of Buenos Aires in Argentina. Van Amersfoort Racing down in pit lane. Their drivers lock out the second row of the grid. The 2025 E4 Championship, the European Series. Javier Herrera from Monterrey in Mexico. The Crown Motorsport team with 2 cars here this weekend. The GT3 machines, the final round of the Italian GT3 Championship, also here this weekend as part of this Acci Racing weekend. Welcome to the former home of the Tuscan Formula One Grand Prix. 33 cars on the grid, 1 in pit lane. Kin Nakamura on pole position. The green flag at the back of the grid. We wait for the start. The Japanese star on pole position for the first time in Tuscany. We race. Great getaway from Alex Powell, who goes on the outside. Tries to take the lead around the outside of his former teammate. Nakamura goes to the inside. P1, Alex, can he do it? Good start also from Salim Hanna as the field make their way into San Donato. Cleanly for the moment for the first time. Nakamura leads the way from Alex Powell. Just the Mercedes Junior all over the back of his former teammate as the field go up the hill to the highest part of the circuit for the first time. Nakamura in P1. Powell in 2. There's Dante Vinci from Popoff. Crash further back in the pack. It is one of the Johnson Motorsport cars. And going around also, it looks as to be, it's Matilda Parts. She's in the wall, coming together with Emily Cotti. Parts and Cotti have come together, and that has brought out the safety car after barely 1 kilometre of racing here this morning. Nakamura winning the start under pressure from Powell. who won't be aware of what has happened behind. They just see the safety car boards coming out. Nakamura Berta has got position 1, Pal 2, Vinci in position 3 in 66, car 3 in P4, that's pop-off from Salim Hanna. But 2 of the 5 women racing for the women's trophy, Matilda Parts and Emily Cotti, have come together and they are both out. We take a look at the replay as they came up into Matarasi. Smack with Emily Cotti, nowhere to go. Rodriguez was also involved. Evan Michelini, the Costa Rican, making his way by just. I can tell you, Thomas Dolchemanis has rejoined from pit lane. Look at the damage. Peyton Westcott as well. 3 of the 5 girls racing in the women's trophy have ended race 1 after barely 1 kilometre of racing here this morning at Mugello. Emily to the right, there's Peyton in the centre, and Matilda Parts from Cologne in Germany. Emily Cotti with nowhere to go. She was turned around, smash into the wall. We take another look at it. There is a Jensen Motorsport car, wow, who has continued on. One of the RSGP cars going through and one into the wall. That's Emily Cotti. It may have been Guy Elbag who just escaped clear. And Javier Herrera going on by. Teo Schropp, the Jensen Motorsport car, who was turned around a complete 360. Incredibly, the Argentine has continued on, seemingly without damage, as the safety car leads for the first time here this weekend. Ki Nakamura Berta is, though, the race leader as Kabir Anurag goes on through. He's made a good start from Ludovico Busso, the Sicilian who has switched to the US racing team. Al Salati goes through. Up into 17th is the Qatari kart racing champion. There is Ludovico Busso in car 29. The team here at Mugello already down onto the circuit to try and clear the cars of Matilda Parts, Emily Cotti and Peyton Westcott. 3 of the 5 girls racing for the women's trophy out after, well, just a few corners of racing here at Mugello. Nakamura Berta with the race lead from Pal, Vinci Popoff. Salim Hanna Gomez already up into position 6 is the championship leader in car 78. Not the best run in qualifying. He is the series leader on 68 points from Nakamura Berta on 51. Reno Francot is 3rd in the series on 43 points. The second of 3 rounds, the 4th of 9 races. 3 races over 30 minutes plus 1 lap at Paul Ricard. The first round in the south of France here at Mugello. You can see the cloud cover here in the Tuscan countryside. And the series final of the 2025 E4 Championship at Monza, the Temple of Speed, on October 26. So the field coming up into Corantayo at the top of the circuit. Still no word from race control. Hopefully this is a relatively short safety car intervention for the first of 3 races here this morning. Gabriel Gomez already up into position 6 after starting on grid 9. Did not get it together in qualifying, just back from his native Sao Paulo over the summer break in South America, where he was able to go home and visit friends. Also do a few laps of the Interlagos circuit in a kart. KZ and an OK, a Sudan kart as well. Always on track is Gabriel Gomez. Head of Newman Chi. Alexander Ruta is the 3rd Van Amersfoort racing driver. He's in P8 in car 38 from Reno Francot. And Alexander Bondarev in P10, just ahead of Sebastian Weldon. There is Javier Herrera going through in the 14 Antonelli Motorsport car, lucky to avoid that first lap crash, which has taken out Matilda Parts from Germany, Emily Cotti, the Kiwi from Great Britain, and from California, the other side of the Atlantic, Peyton Westcott. They are out. Aurelia Nobels is just behind Ginevra Panzeri. So the two remaining girls fighting for the women's trophy. Unfortunately, it won't be a complete podium for the women's trophy in 24 minutes' time. Hopefully we go green at the end of this lap as the cloud cover gets heavier and darker here. There is the threat of rain tomorrow morning for race 3 here at Mugello. For the moment, the track is dry. Just above 20 degrees. We've just cracked the 20-degree temperature mark here as we get ready, hopefully, for a restart for the first of 3 races here this morning. So we'll see how Keen Nakamura Berta leads the field around. Still no word from race control. This is Sebastian Weldon. Not a good run in qualifying for the American. The second-generation racer back in grid 12 for the first race. He's up into 11th, a big future ahead of him. He was on the podium in the first round at Le Castellet. He's won in the Italian Championship. As Matilda, Peyton and Emily make the long walk back from the highest part of the circuit back to pit lane. Still no word from race control. Temperature in the tyres, it is dropping. You hear this spoken about so many times in international single-seater racing. Pirelli telling us that ideally they want to come in at the end of the race with around about 1.4 bar pressure. That's around about 20 psi in the old language. So they're going out on 1.2 bar in the front, 1.1 in the rear. That's around 16, 17 psi. Hopefully coming in hot at the end of the race at 1.4 bar, 20 psi pressure. They will be dropping considerably less because they're almost literally at walking pace. Still no word from race control here in race 1. A big crash in the opening stages here at Mugello has taken out Matilda Parts for the Matilda Racing Team, Emily Cotti for RHGP, and the Van Amersfoort Racing driver from California, Peyton Westcott, who make the long walk back to pit lane as Kin Nakamura Berta behind the safety car, which has still got its lights on. So it's another lap at least, hopefully the final lap behind the safety car. 1/3 of the race will be completed at least behind the safety car. It is getting very dark here at Mugello. Hopefully we get this completed before any rain, which is forecast over the weekend, just lightly does come in. So just outside the top 10, Weldon, Kostic, head of Andy Consani. In car 10, in position 13, this is Ludovico Busso. It was just behind with Kabir Anurag in between. Great debut from Andy Consani, racing with the Paralin Motorsport team over the past decade in WSK World Kart Racing. Andy Consani from Provence in the south of France, just recently turning 15 years of age. He's MP13 from Anurag, Busso, Savinkov, Al-Solati, Andrea Dupé, and finally we get word from race control. The safety car will come into pit lane at the end of this lap. Elia Weiss, car 39 in position 19. One of 2 Crown Motorsport cars on the grid this weekend. Elia Weiss, who had a big crash in the Italian Championship right there at that corner earlier in the year. Of course, took part in the official Formula E test at Berlin in his native Germany for the Porsche Motorsport team recently. Adi Bansel rounds out the top 20. So the lights will go off on the safety car. Kin Nakamura Berta will lead the field away from his old teammate and his rival, Alex Powell. Dante Vinci is not only the top rookie, but he's P3 outright. The Van Amersfoort Racing drivers. Vinci in 66, Popov, Hanna is the second rookie in car 88. Gomez, watch Gabriel, who won the first round of the championship, 2 out of 3 races from grid 9. There is the US Racing Team driver. Gabriel Gomez lights up the rears. In car 78, Bom Dia a nossos amigos assistindo no Brasil. A very good morning to all our Brazilian viewers who have woken up very early in the morning to watch your boy from Sao Paulo, o menino do Brasil, Gabriel Gomes, in 78, already up into position 6. Ki Nakamura Berta dictates the pace. Remember, they cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. KNB in position 1, the Mercedes Junior Powell in second. Nakamura Berta, pole position, P1 as the safety car pulls into pit lane. Nakamura Berta backs the field up. Look how close his former teammate is to him. Alex Powell almost pushing NASCAR style. Car 51 wants to get the jump. He was all over the back of Nakamura Berta. Off the start, this is the restart. The green flag is flying now. They cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. Here we go, once again, Nakamura Berta backs the field up. He's in P1. He dictates the pace. And now he goes. Powell goes with him. Into Buccini, great restart from Powell. Nakamura Berta will give the slipstream, but a good exit from the English-born Japanese start. The green flag flies, and we race green once again here at Mugello. Nakamura Berta tries to break the toe as they go up the straight, up the hill into San Donato. Popoff tries the outside of his Australian Van Amersfoort Racing teammate Powell in the background. Nakamura Berta on the inside, Powell around the outside. As the Van Amersfoort Racing teammates, they trade position as well. Powell trying to take the lead away from Nakamura Berta. As we see Andrea Kostic almost throw car 4 into the grass. The Serbian brings her back on track as they go down from the highest part of the circuit. Nakamura Berta in P1. Powell all over the back of him. There is Sebastian Weldon. He's on the inside now. He's on the outside of the Serbian Andrea Kostic. He holds off the Andretti junior driver. Sebastian down the inside tries to send it. Kostic defends. Popoff has got by Dante Vinci. So the top rookie from Sydney, Australia, still there in P4. There is Ruta going on by. Great start to the pole ahead of Reno Francot, who of course won race 2 at Le Castellet in France in the opening round of the series. Nakamura Berta leads from Alex Powell and Max Popoff. Into Corantayo, and now Nakamura Berta has found some momentum. As you look at Bondarev, Alexander, the Williams Academy driver, all over the back of Reno Francot, the sole PHM racing car here this weekend. Ruta just ahead, the third Van Amersfoort Racing team driver from Poland, going into Buccini, trying to chase down Newman Chi. Kostic on the inside, Andrea from Serbia. Andrea having a great run from grid 16 as well, if you don't mind. Kostic almost breaking inside the top 10. Now pulls out of the slipstream. The Serbian on the outside of the Ukrainian trying to break inside the top 10. He's done it around the outside. Alexander Ruta just ahead, fighting with Reno Francot, as now Nakamura Berta accelerates and puts 0.6 of a second between himself and Alex Powell. There's Anurag going through on the back of Andy Consani, this very impressive young French rookie. In car 10 in position 13, ahead of Anurag, Bussol, Savinkov, Al-Salati, Dupé, Weiss has just been passed by Ari Bansel, Schropp, Ian Kralik, Herrera, Oscar Repeto, Panzetta, and from pit lane, Thomas Stolchamanas is now up into position 26. Andre Rodriguez, one of 4 drivers from the United States of America, from Colorado, if we conveniently ignore his father's Mexican heritage. He's had a rough restart. He's down in 31st position as the final runner, as Ki Nakamura Berta continues to lead. This is Kostic going through just ahead of Sebastian Weldon, who's now dropped back to P12, just ahead of Andy Consani. Powell goes through. You can see the gap out to 6/7 of a second now, even almost a full second, as they go down through the S's into Buccini, the 15th and final corner of this legendary Mugello circuit. Nakamura Berta goes in deep, takes the high line, keeps the engine RPM high, as they come onto the 1.1 kilometre main straight here at Mugello. Sebastian Weldon just locks up the Andretti junior driver with a huge future ahead of him, the second generation racer. But it's been a tough start for the driver from Florida in the United States of America thus far. He's behind Kostic. And the Williams junior, Alexander Bondarev. Nakamura Berta continues to lead on lap 7, the first of 3 races here this weekend. Francot on the outside of Newman Chi, trying to go around the Chinese driver who won at Monza in the Italian Championship. Rino Francot, the Dutchman, as Chi slides ever so slightly, going to Poggio Secco, Materassi, and then Borgo San Lorenzo. Kabir Anurag in the background, fighting with Andy Consani and Ludovico Busso. As now the field go down into Arrabbiata 1, taken in 6th gear. As we see Reno dive down the inside, the Dutchman. Wow, aggression from Reno Francot. Entertaining us here as they climb the hill. In 6th gear, they enter Arrabbiata 1 at 199 kilometres an hour, holding it flat as they go up into Scarperia and Corantaio. Reno Francot, desperate to try and get by the Chinese driver who won at the Temple of Speed, the young Chinese rookie. He won in the Italian Championship at Monza earlier in the year. Alex Powell on your screen. He won here at Mugello, also in the Italian Championship. The gap stays at 7/10ths of a second. Gomez going through the 2 South Americans from Brazil and Colombia. Salim in P5, Gabri in P6. There's Sebastian Weldon in the background behind Kostic. The Serbian still a position outside the top 10. This is Reno Francot. He just checks the left side mirror. Gabriel Gomez on your screen in 78 for the US Racing team. Vinci still in P4 from Hanna, Gomez and Newman Chi. Move down the inside, trying to take Alexander Ruta is Alexander Bondarev. And now Reno Francot starting to get frustrated by Newman Chi, who's holding his position though. He's the 3rd rookie. He is a race winner in Italian F4 this year. He holds P7 in car 28. As you can see, the Mercedes AMG Junior goes fastest. A 50.614. Quickest lap of the race as we go into the final third of the first of 3 races here this weekend. The 3rd running of the E4 Championship, presented, of course, by WSK Promotion, together with the Automobile Club of Italy, Acci Sport. As we see Chi almost into the gravel, just kisses the stones at the exit of the Ripple Strip. Reno Francot, the Dutchman to attack. It is still the Japanese driver from the Jamaican, Max Popoff, now in P3. Dante Vinci, the top rookie. This is Max. Top of the Van Amersfoort Racing Team drivers, actually closing in on the back of Alex Powell as they go into Buccine to start the 9th lap here this morning. Salim Hanna, the Colombian who won a spectacular, going back 3 years now, WSK Open Cup for Ricky Flynn Motorsport at South Garda Karting Lonato 3 years ago. Arguably, that was one of the greatest victories of his young career. As you look at Alex Powell get the toe, you saw the top speeds displayed a few moments ago. King Nakamura Berta clocking 237 kilometres an hour on his qualifying lap yesterday. As we see Weldon still getting frustrated on the back of Kostic and Bondarev, and Sebastian still cannot get by the Serbian, who is driving superbly. He himself trying to attack as well. Now he'll be vulnerable as we look at Kabir Anurag and Andy Consani in the background. The Singaporean and French drivers and the Sicilian Ludovico Busso also starting to catch up to that battle. Down through Casanova. This is Arrabbiata 1. Literally translates into angry corner 1 or spicy corner 1. Taken in 6th gear. Absolutely flat as they climb the hill. and then into the right-hander, down into Coranteo in fourth gear. Lap 9, just under 9 minutes remaining. The gap has come down to 5/10 of a second. This is Gabriel Gomez. Team owner Gerhard Unger telling us this morning they're not thinking about the championship. It is just one race at a time. Good recovery from Gomez. He's in P6, so some points, but not maximum here this morning, unless he can do something dramatic in the closing stages of this. The first of 3 races here this weekend at Mugello. Gomez goes on through behind Salim Hanna, and still the top rookie from Sydney, Australia. That's Dante Vinci, just flashes by. Car 66 in P4. This is 88, Salim Hanna. His teammate still continues the lead. Now the gap goes back out to 0.76 of a second. We'll call it 0.8. He's holding P1. He's controlling the pace. So we see a dive down the inside. Kostic on the outside of Bondarev. Alexander still holds off for the moment. Under pressure is the Williams Junior. He's won already thus far in 2025. Sebastian in the background. That's Kabir Anurag. And sliding sideways, Andy Consani from Provence in the south of France on debut in the E4 Championship in P14 from Ludovico Busso. The gravel traps clearly and very effectively defining track limits here at Mugello. Almost off the road. Just behind Alexander Ruta. Almost threw away. Position 9 did superbly well to bring it back on track. From the country of Poland, which is better known in motorsport terms at least, or very well known at least, in rally terms. And that was a superb move. Opposite lock sideways from Alexander Ruta in car 38 to still hold down position 9. Popov already on the podium multiple times in 2025, his second year racing in Formula 4. You see the lockup just ahead. Also from Vinci, as Gomez going through. Sebastian down the inside. Weldon, can he finally go on through? Nicely done. And the American takes the Serbian. There's the Singaporean Kabir Anurag and Eddie Consani, who continues to impress. Sebastian Weldon immediately to the left of the circuit to try and break the toe, but here comes Andrea Kostic. He now pulls out as they go wheel to wheel, side by side across the line on this 1.1 kilometre main straight. Kostic on the outside. There is grip on the outside line. Sebastian Weldon in the middle of the circuit. And finally, the driver from Florida in the United States of America, the Andretti Jr. He's waited and has made a great move as Kabir Anurag on the inside. Superb from the Singaporean to take the Serbian. Fantastic pass from the US Racing driver from Sentosa. On the southern Singaporean island, the Alpine F1 Academy junior driver, but he goes wide. Now he's in the gravel. Oh no, Kabir, after that great work, virtually throws away his wicket. He's into the grass. Almost dismissed in cricket terminology. A fabulous move to take Andrea Kostic, who's now still back on track inside the top 10. Kostic up the inside. Kabir Anurag gave him space. Kostic was on the inside though, went straight into the gravel, did well not to put it into the wall. Kabir Anurag into the gravel, into the grass, and drops way down the order. As we see the Jensen Motorsport team go to work for their Argentinian driver, Teo Schropp, with 4:44 plus 1 lap remaining here at Mugello. This is Gomez in 78 behind Salim Hanna. Dante Vinci looking for his best result of 2025. Reno Francot gets the slipstream on the back of Newman Chi. Puts it in the middle of the circuit. Watch the attack. He holds it on the outside though. Reno Francot into the marbles though. He's still there. Reno Francot sends it up the inside. Locks up. Newman gives him space. Ruta, who was almost off the road prior to that move, or just a few moments ago. Now Alexander Ruta on the back of Reno Francois, the pole on the back of the Dutchman. And still Newman Chi from China holds the place almost into the gravel. How did Newman hold on to that? Watch the attack. Reno Francois down the inside. Francois on the outside into Arabiata 1 in 6th gear around the outside. Can he do it? They make contact. They're off into the gravel. Francois and Newman Chi were having a fabulous fight inside the top 10. They've made contact down into Arabiata 1, way off the racing line. Francois, Chi, both out into the gravel at Arabiata 1. Their morning is over. We'll try and get a replay of what has happened. Tried the outside. He'd virtually gone on through. Newman Chi tried to give him space. They were racing. Remember, they enter Arabiata 1 in 6th gear at 197, 198 k's an hour. Reno jumps out of car 69. We take a look at this around the outside. Newman Chi on the racing line. Yeah. Into the gravel, into the wall. Their morning is over. Newman Chi's car actually undamaged. Backwards across the gravel. Reno Francois walks back, as does Newman Chi. Both race winners thus far in 2025, but not this morning, just a local yellow. So we stay green for the moment. So everybody else moves up a position. Alexander Ruta now in P7. This is his teammate. Max Popov in P3. Bondarev in 8, Weldon 9, and Andy Consani in car 10, in position 10, on debut in the E4 Championship. This is his teammate, Alex Powell, P2, 0.6 of a second off the race lead, just a local yellow. That's great officiating from race director, Mr. Dino Lodla. Not every incident does necessitate the invocation of the safety car. It is a local yellow down into Arabiata 1. Not a passing opportunity. Well, generally speaking, as Reno Francois and Newman Chi have just found out, they're in the wall. It is a local yellow. We stay green until the checkered flag. This is Dante Vinci. Best qualifying performance of the year starting grid 3. He's the top rookie at the moment. The second rookie right behind is Salim Hanna. Into Buccine. So Max Popov, his teammate, is looking at a podium here. So we expect there to be 2 laps remaining, 30 minutes plus 1 lap. The gap stays at 0.6 of a second between Nakamura Berta, who will also start pole position for race 2 later this afternoon. Alex Powell, P2. He starts pole position for race 3 tomorrow morning. The final 30 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. There are the race leaders going through. This is Alex Powell, along with Reno Francois, making his debut at the Red Bull Ring in Austria just, well, a week ago in the F3 Spec Formula Regional European Championship. That is race distance, 30 minutes. Next time round, it is Kin Nakamura Berto who will get the last lap board. He's also set the fastest lap of the race, a 150.311. In context, a 148.978 in qualifying to take pole position as Alex Powell climbs the ripple strips. One final attack on the back of Nakamura Berta, who will have just under 6 kilometres to race in the first of 3 races here this weekend. The battle for the rookies. Dante Vinci, P4 outright, top rookie, and Salim Hanna, the Colombian, to attack the Australian to take the rookie victory here this morning. Van Amersfoort Racing versus the Prema Racing Team. This battle which has raged since the introduction by the FIA of Formula 4 racing over a decade ago now, as Dante Vinci locks up. Here goes Salim Hanna. The Colombian gets the slipstream. He's almost pushing the Australian across the line as we start the last lap of the first race here at Mugello around the outside. That was costly for Dante Vinci. Goes back to P5, but critically now second in the rookie race. Salim Hanna, the Colombian, goes by, tries to defend. Dante Vinci goes inside, goes outside. Kin Nakamura Berta out front on his way to victory. You're watching the battle for the rookie race, P4 and 5 outright. Prema Racing versus Dante Vinci, who qualified a career best in P3. He's led Salim Hanna right up until they took the last lap board. The third rookie, incidentally, superb from Alexander Ruta, who is P7 outright. P1 on the road, Kin Nakamura Berta, who had a tough start at Paul Ricard. Luc Castellet, the first round of the European Series. He goes down through Arabiata 1. Still a local yellow flag there for the crash a few moments ago between Reno Francot and Newman Chi. Down through the final corners. Incidentally, Thomas Dolchemanis from pit lane has worked his way up into 19th position. Into Buccine for the final time, Kin Nakamura Berta. The checkered flag is about to wave. Kin Nakamura Berta from Japan, from pole position, takes victory in the first of 3 races in the E4 Championship here at Mugello. Perfect drive from KNB. Powell across the line in second place. And Max Popoff, car 3 in position 3. Salim Hanna does deny Dante Vinci victory in the rookie race. Salim from Dante, Gabriel Gomez, 7 from Ruta, Bondarev, Weldon and Andrea Kostic ahead of the impressive young French rookie, Andrea. The final position inside the top 10. Kin Nakamura Berta takes victory in the first race here at Mugello. Second in the series on 51 points, but he'll move up dramatically after taking the win in the 4th of 9 races, the 3-round challenge series, the E4 Championship. Alex Powell coming home second. Remember, he starts pole position for race 3 tomorrow morning. Pole position again this afternoon for Kin Nakamura Berta, who drives down into pit lane as our first race winner of the weekend here at the former home of the Tuscan Formula One Grand Prix. Nakamura Berta and the Prema Racing team back on top in the E4 Championship. Drives into pit lane and will stand on the top step of the podium. We'll try and get a word with the race winner once again. Team manager to the left of screen, Nikki Kadai, raises the index finger. Yes, number 1 for car 51. Luca Balestreri, walking back as well, who formerly engineered so many victories with the great Michael Schumacher, now working with the Prema Racing team. Nakamura Berta takes victory, Powell second, and Max Popov, car 3 in position 3 for the Van Amersfoort Racing team.
That's outstanding. What a drive. What a drive.
Yes, indeed. It was a perfect drive to take victory. In the end, the gap was 9/10 of a second. There is Dante Vinci, who has come home at position 5 with a great drive. Will be disappointed to miss the podium and the rookie victory. He's the second rookie home. His teammate Alexander Ruta there Also on the rookie podium, but standing on the top step, Kin Nakamura-Berta. Car 3 in position 3, another podium for the Van Amersfoort racing driver, Max Popoff. Alex Powell comes home in second from the outside front row of the grid, but victory here at Mugello in the first race this weekend, Kin Nakamura-Berta.
Congratulations, good race for you, great race management, a good start.
Yeah, well-executed race. I think we did everything as we should have. We controlled the race all the way. And yeah, I think it was Alex was pushing me hard throughout the race. But yeah, I think overall, good race, good way to start the week. And yeah, we just move on, try to replicate this a couple more times this week if we can. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last driver we saw with that level of emotion was none other than Oscar, who also took many victories for the Prema Racing team. As we take a look at the highlights from race 1, Nakamura-Berta from pole position went wheel to wheel with Alex Powell. The Van Amersfoort racing drivers from the second row of the grid, Popoff and Dante Vinci, had to defend almost onto the white line. Went Nakamura-Berta as Powell tried the outside. They fanned out 3 wide in the background. Unfortunately for Matilda Parts, Emily Cotti and Peyton Westcott, their morning was over after barely 1 kilometre of racing. Parts collected by Emily Cotti into the wall. Peyton Westcott, she was in the gravel. And 3 of the drivers racing for the women's trophy. Their morning was over. A nervous moment there for Salim Hanna, did recover. Kabir Anurag, after just making a fabulous move to go by Andrea Kostic, was into the gravel and fell way down the field. This fabulous fight between Reno Francot and Newman Chi, well, until this. Into Arrabbiata 1, into the wall. Their morning was over. Dante Vinci locking up into Buccine as they started the final lap of the race, and the Colombian going around the outside of the Australian. Car 88 taking the rookie victory. Prema Racing taking the outright victory with Kin Nakamura-Berta, who led home Alex Powell for the first win in 3 races here this weekend.
Well done, mate. That's outstanding. What a drive. What a drive. Faultless.
That's the perfect adjective. Yes, it was faultless. Incidentally, Ginevra Panzeri has taken victory in the women's trophy over Aurelia Nobels. Thomas Stolchemanis from pit lane has come home in 19th place. And Andre Rodriguez from Colorado, who dropped way back, in fact was dead last after losing time, has recovered to finish in 26th place. The retirements, well, Reno and Newman, they were out into Arrabbiata 1. Kabir Anurag also retired after he drove into the pits with damage after going grass tracking moments after taking Andrea Kostic for 9th place. Teo Schropp retired, as did Matilda, Emily and Peyton. It is Kin who will stand on the top step of the podium in just a moment. Alex in second and Max in 3rd place.
La seconda.
Max Popoff for the Dutch team, Van Amersfoort Racing. In 3rd, RSGP, Alex Powell in 2nd. Kin Nakamura-Berta takes victory in the first of our 3 races here. The European Series, the E4 Championship at Mugello, presented by WSK Promotion, together with the Automobile Club of Italy.
Ed eccolo Raffaele Gianmaria, il direttore della scuola federale AC Sport, che va a premiare la 3ª posizione per Maximilian Popov.
Mr. Raffaele Gianmaria, representing the Automobile Club of Italy, presents the 3rd place trophy to a smiling Maximilian Popov. 2nd place to Alex Powell, and Kin Nakamura-Berta takes victory for the Prema Racing team.
Prema Racing. E festeggiamolo il vincitore con l'inno nazionale. E questo era l'inno nazionale del vincitore Kin Nakamura.
The Japanese national anthem rings out here this morning in Bellissima Toscana. Kin Nakamura Berta takes victory in the first of our 3 races this weekend. He also starts pole position for race 2. That's just after 4 o'clock local time here at Mugello. We hope you've enjoyed race 1. We'll see you for race 2 at just after 4 o'clock this afternoon here at Mugello. We'll see you then.